Did you know for the Muppet Christmas Carol, before production began, Sir Michael Caine told producer and director Brian Henson, "I'm going to play this movie like I'm working with the Royal Shakespeare Company. I will never wink. I will never do anything Muppety. I'm going to play Scrooge as if it is an utterly dramatic role, and there are no puppets around me." Henson replied, "Yes, bang on." Sir Michael Caine considers the role of Scrooge to be one of his most memorable to him. 2. This was the first major Muppet project after creator Jim Henson's passing. The role of Kermit the Frog was handed down to Steve Whitmire. He said he was incredibly nervous about taking over such an iconic character. The night before he recorded Kermit's songs for the movie, he had a dream where he met Henson in a hotel lobby and told him how unsure he was. In the dream, Henson reassured Whitmire that the feeling would pass. After waking up, Whitmire was confident and able to do the part. 3. This movie did modestly well at the box office, but suffered due to competition from Home Alone 2, Lost in New York. Did you know for It's a Wonderful Life? For the scene that required Donna Reed to throw a rock through the window of the Granville house, director Frank Capra hired a marksman to shoot it out on cue. To everyone's amazement, Reed broke the window by herself. She had played baseball in high school and had a strong throwing arm. 2. As Uncle Billy drunkenly leaves the Bailey home, it sounds as if he stumbles into some trash cans on the sidewalk. In fact, a crew member dropped a large tray of props right after Thomas Mitchell went off screen. James Stewart began laughing, and Mitchell quickly improvised, "I'm all right. I'm okay." Director Frank Capra decided to use this take in the final cut and gave the stagehand a $10 bonus for improving the sound. 3. James Stewart was nervous about the phone kiss scene because it was his first on-screen kiss since his return to Hollywood. Under director Frank Capra's watchful eye, Stewart filmed the scene in only one unrehearsed take, and it worked so well that part of the embrace was cut because it was too passionate to pass the censors. Did you know for Home Alone 2, the Plaza Hotel used to offer the Home Alone experience around Christmas where guests could pay to stay in a room similar to the room in which Kevin stayed, receive Home Alone gifts including the movies, and take a limousine and see some of the filming locations, including the toy store upon which Duncan's toy chest was based. 2. The Talk Boy, the tape recorder with which Kevin played in the movie, was a prop created specifically for the movie. After the movie became a box office hit, Tiger Electronics created and distributed a real-life Talk Boy, along with its pink and purple counterpart, the Talk Girl. 3. Director Chris Columbus has stated in interviews that he considers this film better than the original Home Alone. 4. A scene was filmed but later deleted, and to this day has never been seen. It shows the McAllisters waiting to catch a flight to New York after Kevin is tracked down in New York by Peter's credit card. In the scene, Frank complains about Kevin ruining another Christmas vacation, prompting Kate and Peter to stand up to him and tell him to stop. Did you know for Home Alone, Joe Pesci deliberately avoided Macaulay Culkin on set because he wanted Culkin to think he was mean? 2. Joe Pesci was used to adding profanity to most of his scripts and kept forgetting that he was filming a family movie during his character's on-screen outbursts, so director Chris Columbus advised him to say fridge instead of the F word. A lot of Pesci's unintelligible, pained mutterings were his way to avoid cursing. 3. John Candy filmed his part in only one day, albeit a 23-hour day. Almost all of his dialogue was improvised. His part was potentially partly inspired by the character he played in Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, also written and produced by John Hughes. 4. Joe Pesci and Daniel Stern felt indifferent about the movie's potential during shooting, so they intentionally gave over-the-top performances, neither one of them believing this movie would become a massive success. 5. Roberts Blossom considered this movie one of the high points in his career after its release. Blossom said kids would often recognize him from playing Old Man Marley and ask, "Aren't you the guy?" Did you know for How the Grinch Stole Christmas, the scene where the Grinch is directing his dog Max before stealing Christmas, is Jim Carrey making fun of producer and director Ron Howard, imitating his style of directing. Howard found the scene hilarious and decided to include it in this movie. 2. According to Rick Baker, the prosthetic makeup Jim Carrey wore took about 2 hours to apply and 1 hour to remove. Jim Carrey revealed in The Graham Norton Show that he felt so confined and uncomfortable in the latex skin that he sought counseling from a CIA agent who taught him torture resistance techniques. Producer and director Ron Howard was so thankful for Jim Carrey putting up with the uncomfortable hours to apply his makeup that during filming he put on the Grinch suit with full makeup and directed one day with the suit on. He intended this to be a show of appreciation to Carrie. However, when Carrie saw Howard in full Grinch outfit, he was angered, believing it was a stunt double who looked nothing like him. 3. Sir Anthony Hopkins recorded all of the narration for this movie in one day. Did you know For Christmas with the Kranks, this is the first Christmas movie of Tim Allen that is not associated with the Santa Claus trilogy? 2. During filming, it was reported that the cast and crew had ingested over 10 pounds of fake snow. 3. The film takes place in the Chicago suburb of Riverside, but was filmed in Southern California. As a result, the winteriness of outdoor scenes is not particularly convincing. 4. The film is based on John Grisham's book, Skipping Christmas. The title was changed to avoid confusion with Surviving Christmas. Both movies were holiday comedies released in the same year, and both were poorly received by critics. 5. According to director Joe Roth, both he and producer-screenwriter Chris Columbus had purchased the rights to John Grisham's novel Skipping Christmas around the same time. Columbus had already written the script and called Roth, to which Roth thought Columbus was going to tell him he was directing the film. It turns out, it was actually an offer from Columbus to Roth for Roth to direct, while Columbus would produce in addition to having written the screenplay. Did you know for The Nightmare Before Christmas, Danny Elfman found writing Nightmare's 10 songs as one of the easiest jobs I've ever had. I had a lot in common with Jack Skellington. Having created demos of all the songs in the movie for the director's approval, Elfman had gotten really attached to Jack, since he could relate to being loved and famous as he was lead singer of his band Oingo Boingo. But like Jack, he was no longer happy with his situation. Elfman mustered up all his courage to ask his friend and producer Tim Burton if he could voice Jack, but before he could finish, Burton simply told him, "Danny, don't worry about it. You got the part." 2. Despite pushback from Disney, Tim Burton and Henry Selick fought against animating Jack Skellington with eyes. Burton said, "The first rule of drawn animation is that you have to have eyes for expression. I thought it would be great to give life to these characters that have no eyes." He added, "Disney really fought for us to give Jack these friendly eyes instead of dark holes, but we wouldn't budge." 3. Patrick Stewart did the original introduction for the movie, which can be heard on the film's soundtrack. Did you know for Happiest season, director Clea Duvall wrote the film as an autobiography? She has said that she wrote it so she could see her own experiences play out on screen. 2. The film is a pioneering holiday-themed romantic comedy centered around a same-sex couple. In fact, the movie features several LGBTQ+ actors, including Kristen Stewart, Dan Levy, Victor Garber, and Aubrey Plaza. It also is the sophomore film from queer actress-director Clea Duvall. 3. Filming took place in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and wrapped in February 2020, just before the film industry was shuttered due to the COVID-19 pandemic. The film was originally intended for theatrical release, but with the pandemic affecting the movie exhibition business, Sony opted to sell the U.S. distribution rights to Hulu while retaining the international distribution rights. 4. Aubrey Plaza said that after the end of production at the end of February, she asked the man driving her to the airport if she should be worried about COVID-19. He replied that that shit's been in Pittsburgh for a long time. She broke the news that Kristen Stewart and several others on the set came down with it, but she didn't.